What's going on, guys? My name's Chris Warrens, and since 2017, I've been a full-time luxury watch dealer, passionate about helping you navigate the world of high-end timepieces. Alongside that, I do have a few other ventures: consulting, writing, speaking. I have some real estate and a nonprofit in veteran services. But on this channel, it's all about watches, your go-to place for education, insights, and building a community of enthusiasts who share the same passion. And on that note, I just wanted to shout everyone out who is subscribed and commenting on the shows. I've gotten to know some of you and am grateful for it. I just wanted to express our gratitude for you and your support here on the channel, sharing the content and the knowledge. Speaking of, if you find any value in the content, we'd love for you to hit that like button and subscribe, especially since 98% of you watching haven't. With that said, let's get into today's show. 7 cheapest Rolexes on the market in 2025. All right. We've talked about entry-level Rolexes a lot here on this channel, but I thought it would be cool to revisit the subject now that it's 2025 and really narrow down some great options and, most importantly, explain why they are great given the education undertone to our reviews and this channel's theme. So every model we discuss here will be found well under $10,000. Most under $5,000, and even some we're going to talk about are between $2,000 and $3,000, generally speaking. So first up, Air King 5500. This Air King was produced mid-century for decades, from 1957 to 1989. For a total of a 32-year run. The 5500 Air King watch were fitted with both 1520 and 1530 movements during their production time at 34 millimeter. Still super cool and can be found for about $4,000 with good condition. However, you can find them as cheap as $2.5K. You just might not be too happy with the condition, which is important for vintage watches. Number 2, we're going to keep it with the Air Kings, the 14010. The Air Kings are basically, truth be told, considered Rolex's entry-level model. And this model specifically was introduced in 1989 and produced through the late 2000s with a pretty decent run. So this is considered more of a neo-vintage where you get best of both worlds from the vintage and more modern looks. Also a 34 millimeter. It's not really known to turn heads especially, but it is known to be very affordable. These can be found for $3,000, but $4,000 is a good mark when it comes to quality examples, which is always most important when it comes to neo-vintage and vintage models. All right, number 3, 1603 Datejust, made almost mid-century in the 60s and 70s. They came in steel with an engine-tuned bezel, which is similar to a fluted bezel, but not quite. Mostly found on Jubilee, 36 millimeter, cost between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on the example and the condition. Of course, condition always plays the biggest part in older pieces. Number 4, we're going to do the 1601 Datejust. It's very similar to the 1603, which we just discussed, with some slight differences. The 1601 came with a fluted bezel in gold and was available with a steel two-tone white, yellow, or rose gold look. Also a 36 millimeter. Most decent examples you'll find were produced in the 70s, basically, also costing about $3 to $5K depending on the example and the condition. And as I always like to state, condition is the biggest piece of the pie when it comes to vintage pieces. All right, number 5, we're going to keep it with the Datejust, the 16013 Quickset. Released in the 1980s, brought with it a new level of luxury, featuring a two-tone design with stainless steel and 18-karat yellow gold. The dial variations, you can find champagne, silver, black, blue, and some custom options. 36 millimeter case, fluted 18 karat yellow gold bezel, a 30-35 movement. And here's a fun fact about this piece, which I find very cool. The MSRP, say 40 years ago, give or take, was $5,200. And the current market for a good example is about the same, at about $5,000, give or take, depending on condition. So you don't find that too often, but aging 40 years and being the same price as MSRP, to me, is a really cool fun fact about a very classy Datejust. All right, number 6, the Rolex Date 1500. Introduced in the early 60s, produced through about the late 70s, and known as the slightly smaller brother to the iconic Datejust. 34 millimeter, found on both Oyster and Jubilee bracelets. It can be worn as a daily, and it can be worn to a classy event. It's pretty versatile. The materials that it can be found in is stainless steel and gold, yellow gold, and rose gold. There's multiple dial styles and colors available. The bezel is fixed or smooth. The engine, the movements, 1565, 1560, 1575, 1570, I believe to be accurate. With most examples priced between $2,500 and $5,000, give or take, depending on condition, of course, which is always most important on any vintage or neo-vintage model. All right, last but not least, the Rolex Date 15000, the 5-digit upgrade to the 1500 we just discussed. Produced in the 80s with steel 34 millimeter case and smooth bezels, a 30-35 movement and water resistant to 100 meters. Priced at about $4,000 to $5,000 depending on condition. As always, and I like to be redundant on this one, condition plays a huge piece of the pie when it comes to price. All right, so let's close this out, okay? These are your cheapest, some of the cheapest examples when it comes to Rolex in 2025. If you're interested in picking up one of these models, or you want to learn more about working with us to get your hands on any timepiece, check out the links in the description below. And before I'd go, I'd love to hear your feedback. What'd you think of this review? Let me know in the comments. I enjoy hearing from you and respond to everyone no matter the perspective. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel and keeps us making more content that you like, most importantly. So thanks again for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Peace.